Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming back tonight for this next edition of Creative Aging here at the library. I'm Sharon. I'm the Makerspace educator and librarian here at Rawlings Library. I'm here in the Makerspace. As you can see, lots of boxes full of cool goodies that I have back here tonight. Tonight we'll be making some felted pumpkins from the Collective Pueblo kits that we like to get every week. Sorry, guys, about the lateness of getting the kits out to you. It's relatively hard sometimes to find enough supplies for 30 whole people. So we had to go to Springs to get the felt for some of these kits, and that's why they're a little bit late. But they're out there, they're great, and you should have gotten a call if you registered to get a kit to pick up. I have a few, very few kits left. If you're interested in getting one of those, please send me an email, sharon.rice@pueblolibrary.org. If you look on the screen, it actually has my name and how to spell it. And I will get you a kit. They're available to be picked up here at the Rawlings Library only. All right, well, without any other further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. This video is one that I pre-recorded here in the Idea Factory today. That just helps me if there's any sort of pretty much just supply error. I've been having one heck of a time with my glue guns lately, so it just allows me to make sure I'm giving you the right program without any mistakes in it. So here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Creative Aging. Today we've got another amazing kit from Collective Pueblo that we're going to put together. This kit is for felt pumpkin door magnets, and we've got enough supplies in this kit to make 2 pumpkins, so that's pretty fun and exciting. To get started, I've already pre-prepped the pumpkin, and I've cut it out already from the pattern. I did notice in the kit pattern, and you may notice this too, that the felt squares are actually a little bit smaller than the pumpkin templates that are included, but that's okay. You can use them as a guideline, which is what I did, and then I just sort of eyeballed it and cut out what I thought was a decent pumpkin shape. And so when I cut it out, I held the 2 pieces together and cut my pumpkin shape so that when I take it apart, there's 2 exactly the same pumpkins. If you have a preference for this kind of modeled one on what side you want to use, make sure that side is the side that's facing out, because you won't be able to put it together if it's the inside face. You're going to have all kinds of overlap. So you actually want to make sure that the side you want out is facing out when you cut your pieces. Otherwise, you're just going to be in for a bit of frustration, and then you'll trim your pumpkin, and then it's not going to look good. That's just the end of it. Your pumpkin can be any size you want it to be. So, this one guy is pretty big, really, for a kitchen magnet, but you can make a tiny little fellow on there too. If you wanted to make a tiny little fellow, technically, I suppose you could probably get out 3, but there's only 2 magnets. So keep that in mind as you're doing the kit. There are also these 3 buttons. You can use them as eyes, or you can stitch in eyes. Anybody who's been following me doing these programs for a bit of time knows that I am not what you'd call the world's best seamstress, so I'm definitely going to use the buttons for eyes today. But you can do whatever you'd like to do. Then we also have 2 different colors of embroidery floss, and you'll notice that finally I have learned, we've only been doing this for 5 months. I finally learned to pre-thread the needles before this starts. I don't want to talk about how long it took me to figure this nonsense out. But hey, better late than never. And then last we have our fluffy stuff. You will not need to use this much fluffy stuff, but if you've ever tried to make a kit with fiberfill in it before, there is literally no way to get less than that in there. All right, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to want to do is make the face on whatever pumpkin you want to have the face. Do you want it to be a light colored pumpkin face, or do you want it to be a orange pumpkin face? I'm on the fence. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is, I think I've decided I want these two buttons for my eyes. Those are pretty fun. And just kind of, I think I'm going with orange. All right, so then you get to pick between your brown floss and your black floss to you decide what you want to sew it on with. And I really think I'm feeling the brown floss for the button eyes. So I'm going to use that one to do the first eye situation. We're going to hope that I can both, which this is going to be a challenge, I'm sure, because every time we do a sewing kit, I feel like a nut. You know, I'll be able to sew this. I'm not going to have any problems. This is going to be the first and probably the last time that's going to happen. But we're thinking positive today. No, I don't know why I can't sew. You would think I could. It's honestly one of my biggest failings as a maker librarian. I think that I am not a very good seamstress. I'm sure that it's my mom's feeling like she failed too. My mom is an amazing seamstress. She made all the bridesmaids dresses in my wedding, all kinds of good stuff. She's amazing. And she tried to teach me when I was a kid. And unfortunately for her, me, and anybody in a 5 square block radius, I didn't get it. I didn't get it, and I didn't get it loudly, and I didn't get it in a tears and hot rage sort of manner. Sorry to say, maybe wasn't my finest hour, but I do try. I would like to. Over the course of the pandemic, I did sew myself one pair of pajama pants, and I did make a sewing machine video. I only had to call my mom 3 times before the sewing machine got fixed, so I feel pretty good about that, to be real honest with you. Okay, there's one button on. Ta-da! All right, and I think I decided that we're going to use this brown button, but you know what? Let's just double check and see. Brown button, black button. Nah, brown. Brown's where it's at. Silly thing. Keep getting stuck. All right. And I gave myself a lot of floss because I'm aware of my proclivities. And I don't really want my guy to look terribly symmetrical, so I'm going to put him over here. Because I'm not going to be able to thread this needle more than one time. We all know this. We're all aware. See? Silly me. Let's fix the problem. I do want to cut that thread off. I'm not going to be happy with the product if I don't. So back we go. Okay. So this one I will not. After giving it a shot and realizing that I hated it, I'm going to knot this thread. That's the fun thing about doing the crafts on your own, right? Like you don't have to have the rush of other students in the class. Like, well, I've moved on to step 4 and you're still on step 2. Yeah, you can definitely stop and pause and rewind in a virtual class setting. If there's ever a plus side to a virtual class setting, that would totally be it. All right, here we go. Back on track. So we're having a lot of fun, Melissa at Collective and I, discussing fall kits for you guys. So we're doing these amazing pumpkins, but stay tuned because we also have a similar kit for sugar skulls in the work, which I am really excited about because they're my favorite. I like having a Southwestern theme. We thought about doing them in September because it's Hispanic Heritage Month in September. And if you guys have not been tuning into my coworker Maria's videos on the Latino Book Festival, she's interviewing a lot of Latino art authors, and they're doing an amazing job. You really should definitely do that. You can also get those videos just like this one on the Rawlings and on the PPLD Facebook or PCCLD Facebook page. Definitely check them out. They're fantastic. Completely worth a watch. So I've got those 2 eyeballs on. But anyways, so we're not going to be doing the Day of the Dead skulls until actual Day of the Dead, which is the 2nd of November. And so watch for that. Those kits will start showing up in the calendar here shortly, I'm sure. So I'm going to just kind of do a little slow, stitchy, free form, fun little mouth on here. Randomly enough, I'm not a great sewer, but I do cross stitch occasionally. I cross stitched some stuff when I had my son, and it looked pretty good. There's just a having to pay attention element to it that just makes my brain like a little bit funky, but I am learning and I am trying, so I like doing these with you guys so that you can see that if you're not perfect, that's okay. I'm not perfect either. It's really important to note that as we learn skills and take classes to experience new things, that it's okay if we don't actually know what we're doing. Isn't it cute? All right, let's keep going. Yeah, I keep catching my scissors. The workspace I have for filming is actually pretty small. So if I have all my stuff available to me, sometimes I miss something. All right, let's just do this last little. I kind of want to make him a sheepish pumpkin. Pumpkin sheep. Ta-da! Ah, hee how cute. Let's give him a nose just while we're here. What is his nose going to be? I'm going to give him a little cross-stitch nose. All right, so I'm going to call that face done. Yes, he's adorable. Okay, I'm going to tie it off, and then we're going to sew them together and stuff them and glue on his magnet. All right, so here we go. So now we're going to sew these 2 fellows together, just like that. Hopefully I'll be able to do this quickly so that you guys can see the finished product when I'm done. I don't like going too terribly long because I know that watching this can be as you're trying to learn how to do the thing. So remember, when we're doing this, we actually want to hide that knot. So we're going to go into the first layer of fabric and put the knot on the inside so that as we stitch them together, we're not showing all of our pieces to the world. That's a horrible idea. You don't want to be like going around with your underwear showing. That'd be silly. So I switched floss colors and I'm going to sew them together with the black. Why? I don't know. Just thought it was cool to have a bit of contrast color. You again do this any way you want to do it. Just don't give yourself knots like I do all the time. So here we go. I can't wait for fall. This weekend here in Pueblo, it's the Chili Festival. Even though it's not going to be the same chili festival as many years, I know at least that the chili roasters are going to be here. My husband and I are super excited because we are out of some of our favorite chili powders. And we're really hoping that they're going to have it this year because that's where we always get it. We like to use chipotle chili powder in some of our cooking. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with me, my husband is a chef. And so we love to cook, and sometimes I even teach cooking classes here at the library, and I should probably do a couple of virtual ones, but they would have to be from my own kitchen, so I'd have to take my setup home. That would be doable. Mostly because we have a lot of other folks who do cooking classes here at the library, again, like my coworker Maria, and they're beautiful cooking classes. She makes amazing food. But I'm particular about my knives, of course, and things like that. This is what happens when you've not only married to a chef, but you yourself have cooked professionally for a bit. You end up being really picky about your supplies. And so, if I were to do a cooking class, I would want to do it at my house. Here in the makerspace, I have all the craft supplies that I want, and I purchased them, so I know that they're good. But with cooking, sometimes you're just stuck, and then you'll end up with that one knife that doesn't actually cut anything except for your finger, and you'll do that when you're on camera because if you're me, that's just how it works. And then you'll just feel silly for the rest of your life. Like my craziness was actually caught on camera, and now everyone knows that I'm so bad at cutting or whatever it is. You do have to have a good, healthy sense of humor when you do these craft programs virtually for you guys. It's always entertaining. All right, I'm going to leave myself a little hole in my pumpkin. Not a big hole. That's probably a little bit too big. I'll do a couple more stitches. And then we're going to stuff it full of fuzzy stuff and then sew it back up. And again, you've got enough stuff here for 2 pumpkins, so that's fun. You can do one to get your feet wet on the craft idea and then do another one that's really funky. At least that's how I would roll. But you just take a little bit, like really, truly. Don't overstuff this particular pumpkin because he's going on your fridge or any place that you put a magnet, and you don't want him to be so poofy that he just jumps right off of your refrigerator at you. Or, in my case, your cat or child thinks that they're the coolest thing in the world and steals it, and you'll never find it again. All right. Okay. I think that is profoundly enough fluffy stuff, so we'll just finish sewing him up real quick. One of my coworkers came into the idea factory the other day and asked me for a bunch of fluffy stuff, and then showed me what he did with it. And we have a diorama of a train on the 3rd floor up here at the library, and he had used the fluffy stuff to have a train wreck for Halloween in the train, and the fluffy stuff is the smoke. And I laughed and laughed and laughed because, of course, that's what he did, and it was the right choice as far as I'm concerned. So now we're just going to tie this guy off, and again, try to get the knots as close to the inside of your pumpkin as you possibly can, because we don't want to make this a big crazy mess. We want it to look cute, not like somebody who is really crap at sewing did this. In other words, not like Sharon did it. All right, I think that'll work nicely. He's a cute fellow. Snip him off. Last but not least, we're just going to grab our trusty hot glue, which doesn't reach, I'm sorry, into the camera area today. Something, maybe it does. There we go. Now it's working. I'm telling you, my hot glue guns, man, they are just not wanting to make me happy. Displeased with my hot glue. That's okay though. I got out enough to make it work this time. All right, so there we go. It's on the back of the pumpkin. And there he is. So you have enough to make 2 of them. Thanks for tuning in. I know this one was a bit longer, but I wanted to make sure we got it all the way down to the end and got everything finished. Until I get to see you guys again, hopefully sometime, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep making, everybody. Have a great night. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully it was a clear and easy thing to follow for making your own pumpkin magnet. Again, if you guys are interested in getting another kit for one of these, just send me an email, sharon.rice, it's my name, it's there on the screen, at pueblolibrary.org with your name and phone number, and I will have a kit available for you to pick up. Kits are pretty limited, but I do still have a couple. And you can pick them up here at the Rawlings Library. Thanks for watching tonight, everybody.
Until I see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep making. Have a great night.